like Mos Def can do. He can rap and sing, but like you rapping real slow and sexy. I don't need you rapping slow and sexy.
What? That's not fair. Why can't they be multi-talented?
Don't have to be fair. I'm not. What's that have to be fair? What's that have to be fair?
What about Mary J and Method?
When Method raps and Mary sings?
Yes.
That's
but
fine.
It's basically a duet.
Yes, that's fine. Why are we yes.
So that's fine.
You gonna try and make me like what I don't like? Because I said, I don't like it.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me. See how that works? YunkJunk. Welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I'm joined as always by my partner.
Hey, holla at your boy. This is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble.
And here we are, deep into Octavia April. And this week we will revisit one of the iconic science fiction profiles and properties of the early aughts, Men in Black, when we circle back around to Men in Black 2, the choice of Lynn Webb. But before we get to Men in Black 2, or as is said in the advertising, it said like M2B, which wasn't confusing at all.
Not at all.
Lynn, how are you?
I'm doing well. Vincent, how about you, my friend?
Good. Chilling.
Shout out to each and every one of you out there in the chat who are watching as we stream live on YouTube from YunkJunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. Shout out to all the missionaries out there. Good evening, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
So, Vincent, I'm going to get to this real quick.
All right.
Our good friend of ours and friend of the show, Toya, hit us up earlier today, actually. To let us know if we didn't know already. No, I'm mistaken. It wasn't Toya. It was actually another friend of the show, Ariel.
Yes.
Hit us up to let us know that Nas is coming to town.
He is.
Here in Philadelphia.
He is.
In June, I believe, to perform Illmatic.
Yes.
You know, one of the greatest albums of in music history.
100%.
Now, I'm not sure, is this, I know he's performing all, the album.
Yes.
Is this one of those tours where he's performing it with like a band, or is he just performing? I
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe this because this is a continuation. He's been doing this for like 2 or 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing the Illmatic concert. Yeah.
All right. So with that, I was curious, are you interested in going to that concert?
I am, but only kind of because I saw it already.
Oh, so you actually saw him?
I saw Nas in DC.
Okay.
With the orchestra.
How was it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was absolutely fantastic.
Because I was curious about that because I'm a Nas. I'm a fan of Nas.
Sure.
Not as big a fan as you, but I am a fan of his. However, I've never seen him perform live, and that's primarily because I've always gotten the impression that he would not be as entertaining to me. Live.
Sure.
But with this setting, with like an orchestra band, that sounds like it would be more entertaining.
You have 100% zeroed in on why I think it was successful.
Okay.
I think Nas always struck me because this was my only time seeing Nas. Like, I didn't see him in the 90s, but live. Like, I've just seen him on like television and stuff.
Yeah.
And he always struck me as being from that Rakim lyricist school.
Yes.
Where my lyrics are so strong, my showmanship isn't necessarily what I'm leaning on. So, but with the orchestra, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Cannot recommend that show enough.
Okay. Good. All right. So I'm thinking about going. I got to see if it aligns. I think I might be going out of town actually on that day.
Okay.
But we'll see. But this brings me to my larger question.
Okay.
Because the two of us are men of a certain age.
We are.
As the missionaries are fond of reminding us.
Sure. Beats the alternative, though.
Thank you. And as both men of a certain age, but fans of hip hop.
Yes, not but, and.
Okay, and fans of hip hop. would you, let me just ask you directly, would you still go to a hip hop show, live show?
Absolutely. I go to
or would you be selective in the, like, would you go see, okay, I'm going to name 5 artists.
Okay. All right.
Would you go see these artists?
Okay. And you are predicating this on the assumption that because of my age, would I go see him? Because, well, I'll let you ask.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, Kendrick Lamar.
I would love to see Kendrick Lamar, but Kendrick Lamar, unfortunately, is one of those artists that if I went to see Kendrick Lamar, I would be surrounded by people who came to see Kendrick Lamar. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to be there with the Kendrick Lamar crowd.
But wait a minute, you can't just go to private shows. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Like, I like Kendrick Lamar. I don't really like young people like that.
See, and this is my question.
Right, yeah.
This is my question.
Right.
All right.
But that's not a reflection on Kendrick Lamar.
No, it's not.
Right.
No, it's not. But
this is basically the Roots picnic question.
There you go.
Yeah, this is the Roots picnic.
Because you will go to the Roots picnic.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't go to the Roots picnic?
No,
I mean, the Roots picnic is basically...
My daughter has been trying to convince us to go to the Roots picnic for like 2 years.
Why wouldn't you go to...
Too many young people. Too many young people.
But that's going to be...
And I love y'all. I love y'all in your space. But yeah, I'm not trying to be nowhere. There's too much weed. No.
Okay, well, first of all, let's set your definition on young. Because the Roots picnic, to be fair, I got a funny feeling the Roots...
If you are younger than, I'm going to say 35, I'm not really trying to be out with you like that.
But the Roots picnic, you don't think there would be a pretty much a nice little demographic?
And now I'm having the conversation with my daughter.
That probably stretches from the 25 into the 50s.
This has been her argument for 2 years now. And maybe.
I'm telling you, it would be.
All right. You got some more people to say besides Kendrick Lamar?
I do, but you pretty much have answered the question.
Like who? I mean, first
if you wouldn't go to the Roots picnic,
who else are you going to ask besides Kendrick Lamar?
I mean, well, damn. Okay, I was gonna ask Kendrick Lamar. I was gonna ask Lil Nas X.
I don't like Lil Nas X's music.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
So no, I'm not going to see Lil Nas X. God bless the brother, but yeah,
I didn't know.
Right.
I guess she would maybe still do a show. MC Lyte.
Oh, I'd definitely go see MC Lyte.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Is she coming? Is she going to be somewhere?
Not that I know of.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to go see MC Lyte.
Calm down.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's probably a good show right there.
Okay, calm down. All right. Wu-Tang.
I think Old Dirty Bastard not being there would just make me sad. I've actually thought about going, because I think they're on tour, or they're talking about going on tour.
Yeah, I think yeah.
And I love Wu-Tang Clan enough that white frat boy energy that's going to be there, I would go regardless. But I really do, like Old Dirty Bastard not being there would make me sad.
Okay.
So.
But Wu-Tang, there's going to be plenty of weed.
Yeah, but it's Wu-Tang.
So it's Wu weed.
Like Wu-Tang is fine. Like I like Wu-Tang Clan more than I do Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. So even okay, fair enough. Snoop.
Yeah. Truth be told, I don't like enough of Snoop's. Now, see, a better question would be if Snoop did a Doggy Style anniversary tour. Okay. Would I go see that? Like, I think that would tempt me more than just a generalized Snoop concert. Because I don't really like Snoop's catalog like that. Plus, that demographic, like Snoop is very much gonna have that white frat boy energy there, and I like it's just too many variables that I don't know if I would commit to it. But like Snoop, if he did an anniversary tour of Doggy Style, might tempt me, but I suspect I might still land on no.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that you would go to a hip hop show.
I mean, I go to hip hop shows.
Who was the last
who was the last hip hop?
Curtis Blow.
You're joking, but like it probably was Rakim and like Rakim, KRS-One, and Slick Rick had a show.
Okay. Yeah. You definitely went for the 35 and up.
Oh
above.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna go see the Roots. I'm gonna go see.
But you wouldn't go to their picnic.
Yeah, because it's not just the Roots. Like if it was a Roots picnic with just the Roots, you know, you go and it's like little Aesop, little baby Aesop, boogity boop, and it's like. I told you, was that last year or the year before last? Like all these young people converged on our house. Like my daughter had brought some friends from campus and like some of my nieces and nephews, and they all came. And I'll never forget, we were all standing in the kitchen and they were talking to each other. And I think it was Shabuzi. Like I had never heard of Shabuzi, but they were talking and said, "Oh yeah, I want to go see Blind." And they were just talking back and forth. I said, I have no idea who these young people are talking about. And then here's the kicker. I also didn't care.
There.
You know, y'all be safe when you go see Lil Boppity Bop. Have fun. Make good choices. I'm going to stay here and have a little sippy sip and listen to Donald Byrd. I'm going to sit here and put on the Donald Byrd album, have a little sippy sip.
You should have went with them to see Little Boppity Bop.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because he brought out Dana Dane.
Yeah.
No, not going to do it for you.
You know, that's, so like let young people have their thing. Well, that's the other thing. Like let them have their thing. I'm somewhere telling people. Although I did say this, it's funny because when KRS-One came out, KRS-One was doing that. Turn it up, selector, turn it up. And I was like, dude, I feel like it's loud enough. like I don't think you need to turn it up anymore. Like I feel like it's as loud as.
Oh my God.
Can anyone else? Like, I feel like I can hear it. Can you hear it?
Stay home, Vincent. Just stay home.
I'm going to go see Samara Joy.
Yeah.
Go see Samara Joy.
Go see
like
Samara
the
Joy.
Wynton Marsalis sextet is coming. You know, go see Wynton Marsalis.
That's where you should go.
I'm going to go see Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah. And just play your... I'll answer your Wu-Tang question. Right. Just play the album.
Just
play the album.
Right.
Keep your...
If ODB was alive, I would go see Wu-Tang.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
No, you wouldn't. You would not. You know what? You'd be coming in here. These damn kids.
It's kids. It's the kids. It's kids.
I'm just trying to listen to ODB.
Right.
Can he do the song, please?
Right.
No. Anyway, that's enough of Vince.
I'm sitting here minding my business. That's me.
I did. Let's hear from you, our missionaries, with your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries. So what else is going on, Len?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries. Vincent, we have an email from Ron Covington.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Dear Len and Vince, thinking about your Octavia April celebration made me reflect on a film I thought was actually a black science fiction film, Muppets in Space.
Interesting.
In it, Gonzo feels like he doesn't belong with the others and that he has a home elsewhere. It turns out he's descended from some funky extraterrestrials who roll back to Earth jamming funk music. Celebration by Kool and the Gang in the movie, which I thought was a concession to make white folk feel comfortable. Yes, because Celebration by Kool and the Gang is not funk. He's finally solved the mystery of his true identity. That's a good question, because I always thought Gonzo was just like a weird looking bird.
Right, because he always is making like really uncomfortable statements and movements around chickens.
Right.
There's always the chickens around.
Yeah.
It's like,
so I was figured,
right.
you know.
Right.
Ron continues, when I saw the film, I immediately got it, but others were skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
The film was produced by Stephanie Allain, a sister who has been in the business a long time. I had a mutual friend ask her if my notions of the film's subtext were accurate or just my own musings. My friend told me Stephanie said my take was definitely where she was coming from. This train of thought got me to wondering what you guys consider to be maybe the first Black-themed sci-fi film and what you think are maybe 3 or 4 very influential Black-themed science fiction movies over the past 50 or 60 years. And where do you think the genre might be headed in terms of themes in the current landscape? It's always keep passing the mic, Ron Covington. Well, Ron just presented us with like a whole show of questions.
I know.
The first Black-themed sci-fi film.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I mean, we definitely have like alluded to this. I'm not saying this is the first one, but we definitely see allusions to the Black experience in Planet of the Apes.
Right,
Certainly,
Conquest of Planet of Apes in the 70s. I'm trying to think any of those 50s movies, can you bend them and say that they're talking about race? What are the great robot movies from the 50s or 60s?
Yeah, but I don't think that they really get into race because it's not about the robots being othered in any type of way.
Well, but
yeah, see, like things that come, see, and that's the other thing. The movies in the 50s didn't play around with this theme as much as television by way of the Twilight Zone.
Right.
Because I'm thinking like the ones that are coming to my mind, a Twilight Zone episode.
If we could pause the show for like 2 hours, I would love to watch Forbidden Planet.
Remind me Forbidden Planet. I'm pretty
Forbidden Planet is just The Tempest. So it is Shakespeare's The Tempest, but it's in space. And Robbie the Robot, I believe, is the Caliban character. And Caliban has, lots of people have seen him as racialized. But I don't remember.
Robbie the Robot is not racialized.
Well, that's what, like, I remember he was just sort of, it was just sort of the spectacle of a robot.
Exactly.
But I also don't remember, because when I think of Robbie the Robot, what I'm always thinking of is obviously Lost in Space. I don't remember what he did in Forbidden Planet.
I feel like I just watched that again within the last year. Couldn't make it through it, to be honest.
It's not that. I mean, it's a spectacle. Like, it's kind of interesting to look at.
And I think, but I think the whole idea was just that, like you just said, it was Robbie the Robot.
Right. Look at the robot. Yeah.
It wasn't so much. Like, I certainly didn't see any type of coding in it.
I can't remember. What are the big robot movies? We're gonna have to get off of this because this will distract me forever.
But why? I'm curious why you immediately going to robots?
Because that was the code. Like, that was what Asimov and Arthur, like them 40s, 50s dudes. That's what they did. Like, we can't write about race, so we're gonna use robots. And the robot series is all race stuff.
Well, our associate producer, Mo Poplar, I mean, he's trying to put together a whole podcast, the movie Frankenstein and the story of Frankenstein's monster having, like, you know, racial undertones to it as well. So, I mean, and that's sci-fi-ish. I guess maybe it leans more horror, but
we really do have to get off of this.
See, because
we really do.
We're inching closer to the rabbit hole.
No, right? Because Aaron Frost said Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but Invasion of the Body Snatchers is more the Red Scare.
Yeah,
like your neighbor looks exactly like you, but he's really a communist in disguise. Although it wouldn't take much to say that it's a passing thing.
That's a good point.
Which is why we got to get off of this. That's a very good question, Ron. that I'm gonna be thinking about, because now I'm trying to figure out what the great robot movies are.
Well, then you just said passing, and that made me think of what's the movie where the War of the Worlds guy comes down and he is passing as a human being for a little bit.
Oh, I don't remember that in War of the Worlds.
I'm pretty sure that's War of the Worlds, because War of the Worlds is the one that Tom Cruise did the remake.
Right.
It's another one.
Are you talking about The Day the Earth Stood Still?
Is that the one that they remade with Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's also a lot of red scary. That's actually fear of the atomic bomb stuff.
Yeah, but he does kind of like walk amongst the people to learn of the
great movie too.
The original or the remake? The original is really good.
Is like really like noir almost. All right, but go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
We're not taking the bait.
That's right. Gotta stay on task.
We're not taking the bait. But
right.
A lot of good questions.
Yeah.
Let us know when you get your podcast up.
Yeah.
All right. We got another email. This is from Michael Sykes.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hello, Len, Vincent, fellow missionaries. I recently caught your discussion highlighting King of Rock and Raising Hell as Run-DMC's standout albums. While those are undeniably influential, I believe their 1984 self-titled debut deserves equal recognition. Tracks like It's Like That, Rock Box, Sucker MCs, and Jam Master Jay were groundbreaking, introducing a raw minimalist sound that set a new direction for hip-hop. Post Raising Hell, Run-DMC's notable contributions include Run's House, The Festives' Christmas in Hollis,
of course,
and Down with the King, the latter benefiting from the production prowess of Pete Rock and TL Smooth. I will definitely give him that. Run's House is Christmas in Hollis is and Down with the King. All right, solid. Over the weekend, I delved into a lesser-known facet of early hip-hop, ballads by pioneering artists. Curtis Blow's All I Want in This World is to Find That Girl showcases his versatility beyond rap. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five ventured into melodic territory with tracks like Dreamin', Yesterday, and You Are. Additionally, the Sugar Hills Gang's Here I Am. These explorations reveal the genre's early experimentation and depth. Curious, were you aware of these tracks? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Warm regards, devoted fan, Michael Sykes.
Hey, you know, how you feel about the hip hop ballads?
I mean, I feel like I know Curtis Blow's track. I'm not a big Curtis Blow fan, so it's like, all right, whatever. Grandmaster, the Grandmaster Flash tracks, maybe I know them and I just can't bring them to my head.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm hearing Dreaming now.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, they are what they are.
Yeah.
Sugar Hill, okay, it's whatever. But I do like when hip hop goes a little softer, little, you know, some R&B, a little melodic. I don't have any problem with them. Some of my, you know, favorite ones, you know, going old school, you know, well, we always talk about LL Cool J.
Yeah.
You know, Hey Love.
Yeah.
You know, which basically is a duet with Boyz II Men. But if you want to go old school, you can also go to Whodini.
Yeah.
You remember Whodini?
No, yeah, absolutely.
One Love?
Yeah.
I mean, One Love to me, as far as I was concerned, was the first hip hop ballad that was like a hit. Like that played everywhere, you know? So I like a good ballad of hip hop. What about your Heart and Heart?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I knew it.
I don't.
I knew it.
I never have.
I could tell.
But more importantly, I'm glad he brought that up, because here's my other hot take. I misspoke. I meant to say the only two good Run-DMC albums were their self-titled album and King of Rock. I don't think Raising Hell is a good album.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think Raising Hell is a very spotty album.
Okay.
And then after that, like Run-DMC and King of Rock, and then I'm like he said, there are songs here like I Got to Do the Buffet with Run-DMC.
Okay.
All right.
Fair. That's
okay.
That's your take. But you don't like hip hop ballads.
I don't.
At all.
I don't. I don't want to hear all that from you.
Why?
I like
you like people in a lane, man.
I like Mahogany. I like Rakim's Mahogany.
Okay. Which I contend is not really a ballad.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't like Hey Love by LL Cool J?
No. I don't like any of it. Like I didn't like I Need Love.
Well, I Need Love.
Like every time LL gets in that lane, and I appreciate that lane. It's a good lane, but yeah,
And you didn't like One Love by Whodini?
I didn't really like Whodini.
Okay.
Yeah.
That hurt me because I was a huge Whodini fan.
Sure. I mean, look, you're on the right side of history.
But you don't like it because you don't want them to.
I just don't like it.
But you said you don't want them to do it.
Like you an MC.
Feel like you don't need MCs to do.
No, I don't need the softer side of MCs. I don't.
Okay. That's interesting.
You know, I'll do.
So how do you feel about our singers that rap?
Like who?
Well, that call themselves rappers. BBD, Bobby Brown.
Well, they are multi-talented. They are
so they're multi-talented.
They're multi-talented.
Well, that's not. Well, that's not fair. Right. That's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair.
Right. It's like or like Mos Def can do. He can rap and sing, but like you rapping real slow and sexy. I don't need you rapping slow and sexy.
What? That's not fair. Why can't they be multi-talented?
Don't have to be fair. I'm not. What's that have to be fair? What's that have to be fair?
What about Mary J and Method?
When Method raps and Mary sings?
Yes.
But
it's basically a duet.
Yes, that's fine. Why are we yes.
So that's fine.
You gonna try and make me like what I don't like? Because I said, I don't like it.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me. See how that works?
I'm going to take you to a hip hop concert where all they do are ballads.
It's going to be like Aesop this one and Aesop that one, and it's going to be real loud.
Special guest Whodini.
Special guest Whodini. Yeah. And Shabuzi. I can't wait to go see Shabuzi. Oh, we should see Shabuzi. I was standing over, I was standing by the side. I was like, the hell is a Shabuzi?
We got one more email.
Okay, all right.
It's from Michael Lockett. My greetings, my brothers and fellow missionaries. Sweet Jesus, this was Polar Opposites Week. The Justice League versus the Bizarro League. For those of you new to the mission, Michael Lockett is a loyal missionary who is watching the films in real time with us as we are reviewing them. So he is watching Men in Black 2 for tonight, but also dipping back into the crates and listening to the show in order.
Fun time.
So, the Justice League versus the Bizarro League. The Old Guard, our film from last week, is one of the best live action adaptations of a graphic novel ever done. When I watched it when it came out, I kept thinking this film is blacker than people know. My rewatch confirmed it. The lens is black. My only hope is that something vital to the look and feel of this initial flick feeling is not lost with the new director for part 2. I don't think so, but we shall see.
I have faith.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because even though Gina Prince Bythewood is not directing it, she is producing on this. And I got a funny feeling she's going to keep a hand in there.
Yeah.
At the opposite end of the spectrum, Michael continues, my time travels dropped me right smack dab in front of steel. I am a very selective consumer of DC Comics properties. Batman, of course, John Stewart, the Green Lantern, Wally West, the Flash, ever so often Wonder Woman, primarily when she is pimp smacking Superman. I was intrigued with the Steel character coming to life. When I found out it was going to be Shaquille O'Neal, I was like, Oh, hell, DC. Come on now. You know better. Do better.
Yeah.
They just don't seem to try unless it's animated. I really can't find anything good about the flick, and it pains me because I like Shaq. He could have easily, in my opinion, had a career like The Rock.
Is that what you think, Michael? Interesting. Okay.
Because according to Michael, he only needed good projects and direction around him. If you two had to pick a better film for Shaquille O'Neal to debut in or to have a breakout role, what would you pick? Even though it was before his time, I could totally see him in The Princess Bride as Andre the Giant's character. All the best, Michael Lockett. It's interesting you say that because my first inclination was to think of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was
and
just
how
about
he came
to say
out in Conan.
And I was thinking about Wilt Chamberlain in Conan.
In Conan 2, the Destroyer.
Conan the Destroyer.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about.
I wasn't necessarily thinking about that, but I can see where you're going there. But I was thinking about how putting Shaquille in more of a fantasy setting.
Yes.
That can, make use of his size.
Yes.
And does not ask as much of him from an acting point of view.
Lean on the charisma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's I could definitely see that. If you wanted to. Now, here is something. If they wanted to do this, I could maybe see Shaq doing this. If they were ever to do a live action of either, I just lost the movie, lost the name of the animated movie set in the 50s with the giant robot.
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant.
You want me to play a giant? You want me to play the robot?
Yeah.
You just a giant robot man?
Yeah, but the robot talks.
Right.
So, but he talks very slowly, methodically.
Right. He actually just says Superman.
Okay.
All right.
But that's Shaq.
That's
Shaq considers himself
Shaq,
Superman. He's got Superman
all right.
tattoos and everything.
All right.
So either that,
okay,
or if they did an a live action version of, what was this animated movie? The Big O or something. It was like this big white robot. Yeah.
You just think Shaquille O'Neal should be a giant robot man? That's what you're going with.
What was the name of that movie, Dylan? The animated movie. It was like the big white robot, like the little kid made, and like his brother became. No, I think his brother made it.
Oh, you mean what you call
movie.
It 6?
Yeah, Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6. Yeah. I guess I would have loved for Shaquille to come out in a film like that.
Okay, I don't know about come out. I think if he followed the path like we just said and makes 2 or 3 movies, I could see him after 2 or 3 movies, if they lean on the fantasy part of it, actually appropriately enough because of Steel, doing a live action John Henry. He'd have to get a little bit under his belt. Yeah. Like if you got him to Rock level, I think he could do John Henry.
Yeah.
Like it's going to have to be like 3 or 4 scenes with him and a love interest and him son being resolute, like I can beat this machine. But then the rest of it is just physicality and charisma.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a worthy experiment. It's a worthy experiment. Suffice to say, to be honest, casting him in Steel was not a bad idea.
It was a terrible idea. I 100% disagree with you.
No, let me put it this way. I think the idea of casting him in Steel is not a bad idea. I don't think he was ready. I don't think he was ready for it.
I think his ass is too big to be Dr. John Henry Irons.
Okay. All right.
You cannot get past him being 7 feet tall.
That's true.
Like, he cannot play a regular dude in any form or fashion.
Well, The Rock plays regular.
When's the last time The Rock played a regular dude? He always special.
The Rundown?
He was Special Agent Cock Diesel in that. Bounty Hunter Man.
What was it? The Tooth Fairy?
He was playing against type because they were like, ooh, look at Special Agent Cock Diesel, who's actually the Tooth Fairy.
Be Cool?
He was a henchman.
That's a regular dude.
That's not a regular dude. Dr. John Henry Irons has multiple PhDs.
You saying Shaquille O'Neal can't pull off having multiple PhDs?
I'm saying the 7 foot tall dude, someone is saying, yeah, this isn't realistic. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, he's going to have to be the action dude.
No, I think you're putting him in a box.
A big ass box. Like one of them boxes you got put together. Like one of those boxes they mail you in a even bigger box. And it comes in pieces.
They mail the box.
They mail the box in pieces. In a bigger box. And then I'm building that box and putting Shaquille O'Neal in it. And then he had a secret identity. Like, we're not going to talk. Like, he had a secret identity, which is preposterous. Who is this mysterious 7 foot tall black man with a mask on? Who could it be? Oh, hi, Dr. Irons. Yeah. I had some stomach problems and had to go to the bathroom. That's why I was not here when Steele was here.
In Mayberry.
Right. Who is this mysterious 7 foot tall black man? He's wearing a mask. How could we see past that disguise? It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. All right, go ahead.
Suspend belief. All right. Well, that's our emails. Thank you, missionaries. If you want to hear your thoughts or questions right here live on the Micheaux Mission, please send us an email. Email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheauxmission@gmail.com. Before we move on, I invite you, if you're going to be in the Philadelphia area, you can come out and spend some time live with Vincent, myself, and our good friend Stephanie Watts on Thursday, May 8th. I had to remember the date.
Sure.
At Bryn Mawr Film Institute, where we return with the Be Real Micheaux screening series for Beasts of the Southern Wild. Tickets are on sale now at brynmarfilm.org. Come out, enjoy the film, listen to the talk back, and scarf up some free pretzels.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
And now it's time for the Game of Kings.
Game of Kings.
Or, as we call it, 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin.
All right.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, Vincent, where you have 6 films or less to connect the actors that I give you to that man who definitely could fill out Steele's costume.
He could.
D'Urville Martin.
D'Urville Martin. That's right. D'Urville Martin is Steele. That works.
All right, keeping it in theme, we're going to be reviewing tonight Men in Black 2.
We are.
Starring one Tommy Lee Jones, Lara Flynn Boyle, as well as Will Smith.
Yes.
So, Vincent, I present to you 2 other acting Smiths.
Oh, some Smiths.
All right. So, in 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to Matt Smith.
Oh, we've done Matt Smith before, I think. Because I remember he's in Morbius. And I didn't see Morbius, but I know he's in Morbius. So... So. D'Urville Martin. I don't want to get to Morbius. Oh, here you go. Because I was thinking about The Color of Money. Because I was thinking about sequels. So because D'Urville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side. No, I'm sorry. Is in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier is in Paris Blues with Paul Newman. Paul Newman is in The Color of Money with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is in another film that has some pretty good sequels. Pick Your Mission Impossible with Ving Rhames.
Okay.
Ving Rhames is, of course, in Baby Boy with Tyrese Gibson, who is in Morbius with Matt Smith.
Oh, Tyrese Gibson is in that movie? How have you never seen it, and yet you know that these two people are in the movie?
Because they were showing clips of Tyrese. You know, Tyrese cracks me up just generally. So I was seeing clips of Tyrese and Morbius.
Oh, okay. Very good, Vincent.
Tyresing it up.
As he is wont to do.
Does. That's right.
Very good.
All right.
All right. Now.
Okay.
Knowing that one would probably be a layup for you.
Okay. All right.
Now I've got a good one for you now.
Okay.
You're going to have to stretch your mental. I will even give you a lifeline in the guise of our good producer, Dylan.
Okay.
For this one. In 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, did she act, or did she just kind of show up in movies during that little pocket?
She has been in films and a couple of roles, speaking roles
what was she
in films.
Yeah, what movie was she in that I would have said? Away. Oh, Anna Nicole Smith is in that. Like, what was she in?
Let me think of one that I think it's going to be. Okay. Well, she had her first starring role in 1995.
Oh, Lord.
In To the Limit.
Yeah, I can safely say I've never seen To the Limit.
You've never seen To the Limit?
Anna Nicole Smith's
Vincent,
star vehicle.
This film is a sequel to Da Vinci's War.
Is it real?
It is.
And she's a star?
She's the star.
I don't even know what Da Vinci's War is, but I'm now intrigued by a film that got a sequel. Is she in Da Vinci's War?
No.
So, but she stars in the sequel?
It says that she's not the star. No, she is the star.
So who's the star?
She is listed as the star.
So who's the star of Da Vinci's War? Now I'm just intrigued by Da Vinci's War.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
You just pull these names out of a hat.
No. The star of Da Vinci's War is well, I'm seeing these names, but I want to go to the IMDb and make sure that it's who is the actual like a top cast. Michael Nouri.
Michael Nouri. I know that name.
Mm-hmm.
You got a picture of Michael Nouri?
I do.
Is he in the sequel with her?
Yes.
Let me see Michael Nouri.
That first face.
Oh, that's a great face, but I don't know what else. What else is she in? Da Vinci's War.
You don't know her from
I don't.
To the Limit?
Which is apparently the sequel.
It's the sequel to Da Vinci's War, Vincent. Where you been?
Yeah, was she in something I would have seen?
I thought you would have seen To the Limit.
The sequel to Da Vinci's War. Well, I missed Da Vinci's War. And so there were so many references to like I saw the ad for To the Limit. I said, "Oh, To the Limit with Anna Nicole Smith." I should go. Oh, it's a sequel to a film I haven't seen, so I'll skip that.
I'll wait for 20 years when it's streaming.
Right. Watch them both together.
Okay. She made her theatrical film debut 1 year earlier.
Okay.
In a film that you may have seen.
And that is?
The Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh, the Hudsucker Proxy, because that's with Tim Robbins.
That is indeed with Tim Robbins.
She's in the Hudsucker Proxy? Is she really? Doing what?
Acting.
Come on, stop. What is she doing?
You're so ignorant. You're so ignorant. You want to keep people in a lane and a half.
Come on, stop.
She was acting. She plays Jaja.
well, there you go.
And actually, it's Zaza.
Zaza, sure. So Tim Robbins. You can certainly use Tim Robbins. I mean, look, Deborah Martin, Five on the Black Hand Side, Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams, Mo Better Blue was Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington's in Glory with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman's in The Shawshank Redemption with Tim Robbins, who stars in The Hudsucker Proxy, and apparently Nicole Smith is in it.
There you go. Well done.
I mean, okay, sure.
Would you like to hear the other films in her filmography?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so she made her...
I actually don't want to hear all of them. Just tell me the interesting ones.
I am.
Okay.
Of course. So she made her feature film debut in The Hudsucker Proxy. She followed that up with an award-winning performance in Naked Gun 33 1/3, The Final Insult.
What award did she win?
She won the worst new star at the 15th Golden Raspberry Awards.
Now, see, that would have been a good one because I would have used something that you gave me. Because you go from Sidney Poitier to Denise Nichols in either Let's Do It Again or A Piece of the Action. And Denise Nichols is apparently in Capricorn 1 with O.J. Simpson.
I mean, that's true.
Who is in this.
Okay.
We also could have did Leslie Nielsen because we talked about Leslie Nielsen.
Well, I knew
here.
I was thinking about Leslie Nielsen
with a change of face.
Yeah.
with Raymond St. Jacques. Mm-hmm. So you could have went Godfrey Cambridge in Five on the Black Hand Side to Cotton Comes to Harlem with Raymond St. Jacques to Leslie Nielsen to her.
Right.
Yeah, you should have did Naked Gun.
Well, knowing Leslie Nielsen would have been I think a little bit of a layup.
Yeah.
She also, we talked about To the Limit,
which is the sequel to the Da Vinci.
Her final feature film was in a film that I think you may have seen. It was another sequel, Be Cool, sequel to Get Shorty.
Who does she play in Be Cool?
She actually plays herself.
I was about to say, I mean, that was her deal. She was kind of, almost a quasi reality star celebrity.
Look, are you saying that the majority of this filmography says her playing herself? Yes. Yeah. But there were times when she was given lines and she did them well.
Wasn't there a documentary about her that was pretty good? Because all jokes aside, I think she was a sad.
Was there a good documentary or was there a documentary?
A good documentary. Like, I thought there was something about her
I don't know
life.
whether or not there was a good documentary because I've never watched the documentary on her.
Yeah.
But on her filmography, there are about 4 documentaries about her.
Yeah, I think it's one in the past 5 or 6 years that was actually pretty good.
Well, those aren't here.
Okay. All right. But all right, sure. And Nicole Smith.
There you go.
Sure.
Well done, Vince.
Yeah, look.
You got there.
I'm mad you didn't do Naked Gun so we could talk about O.J. Simpson.
We're fine.
All right.
We're fine.
Well, there you go.
You always talk about us not going into rabbit holes.
And I know.
And you always just be peeking your head. I know.
They're all around.
Jesus, man.
All around.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Let's get into our review of Men in Black 2.
Men in Black 2, the sequel to the iconic science fiction film Men in Black is about Agent K and Agent J reuniting to provide our best line of defense against a seductress who levels the toughest challenge yet to the Men in Black's mission statement, protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe. Directed once again by Barry Sonnenfeld, who directed the first film. Written by Robert Gordon and Barry Finero, Men in Black stars Laura Finn Boyle, Johnny Knoxville, Rosario Dawson, and of course, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. And this, the fourth week of...
Yes. No, it's the third week.
The third week of Octavia April, and this was the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what do you have to say about Men to Black?
Well, I'm going to start in talking about this by going back to a documentary that I watched this weekend.
Okay.
I watched this documentary that's available called Number One on the Call Sheet.
Yes,
which is an interview. It's two separate documentaries. Number One on the Call Sheet, Black Men in Hollywood. Number One on the Call Sheet, Black Women in Hollywood.
Okay.
Right? And it's a great documentary. If you find it, look for it on a streaming platform near you right now, missionaries. And it's, top-notch actors talking about their experience in Hollywood.
Okay.
And, making their way in all against the opposing forces that they have going up against them. And in the documentary Black Men in Hollywood, which leads off this two-part series, you've got Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Hart, The Rock, Morris Chestnut. You've got all these top-line Taye Diggs, top-line actors, in archival footage. You got Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, all speaking about their experience and making their way in Hollywood and how they, definitely stood on the shoulders of those that came before them, singing praise for each other's performances, and also talking about how there's not often is it space for more than one of them to shine.
Mm-hmm.
We have always talked about how Denzel took a lot of money out of people's pockets, and funny enough, I saw an interview this week with Delroy Lindo.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about how there were a couple of roles that he got primarily because Lawrence Fishburne turned it down or wasn't available.
Okay.
It's like, and you just see, these people vying against one another, right? But it was curious in that documentary that they interviewed Will Smith,
mm-hmm.
because of all the actors that they interviewed, because they also definitely speak of Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy is there talking about his time in Hollywood. Will talks about how he navigated his way through Hollywood and how he specifically and intentionally wanted to become the biggest movie star in the world. And he intentionally wanted to make movies that he knew would play not only just across the street at the theater, but across the globe.
Okay.
In the theater. He was determined to become the biggest movie star in the world, full stop. Right? And that is what guided him in the movies that he made, the projects that he chose for a long time in Hollywood. And I think it was very timely that I watched that documentary right before seeing Men in Black 2.
Sure.
Where you can feel this this plan at work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right in this film.
Yeah.
In 2002, Will Smith is becoming one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He's decidedly on his way at that moment. He probably, maybe it's reaching his apex at that moment, and it's starting to kind of like maybe start looking, start that Oscar search that he fell into for a while. And Men in Black was a huge hit for him, the first film. But he was decidedly the number 2 on the call sheet, as it were, in that film to Tommy Lee Jones. But it was a huge hit, and it was a what they call a 4-quadrant film. It could play everywhere. It could play in the city, and it could play in the suburbs, it could play in the flatlands, and it could play in China, it could play in Australia. And in this film, where the sequel, where Will Smith is decidedly now number 1 on the call sheet, and Tommy Lee Jones, maybe he's 1B, but I think his name is definitely coming second. Right. Will has positioned himself smartly to be the man in this movie. And you could see it just beaming off of him like, okay, I'm in full control. I know who I am. This is a film where I'm still kind of like the cool guy, but I don't have to be like, I'm not Mike Lowry from the Bad Boys. Right. I tone it down because this one is going all over. This is going all over. And in that mode is the perfect mode for Will Smith. And in that mode is the perfect mode for this film, which at its heart is, it's funny, you were just talking about earlier in the show about 50s horror movies. This is basically a 50s horror movie. Sure. But with 2002's effects and some of the cultural references put on top of that. The story of this movie, the plot, such as it is that sometime back in the late 50s, 60s, these aliens...
No, 1978.
Oh, as they say it. That's right.
That's important.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. In 1978, aliens come to Earth. They're doing battle or something, and leave something on Earth, right? And an alien comes looking for it, and Earth, the Men in Black say, "No, it's not here. We sent it away. That's gone." And they leave. Well, lo and behold, the Men in Black were lying, and Man in Black was lying, and it was still here on Earth. And now the alien has come back in the form of this tentacled plant thing that takes on the image of Lara Flynn Boyle.
As one does.
As one does when they see a picture of Lara Flynn Boyle as a model in a magazine. Then, through machinations, they discover that the person who had the secret of what was left here on Earth was Agent K, Tommy Lee Jones' character, who at the end of the first Men in Black was neuralyzed to forget that he was ever in Men in Black and just live his life as a postal worker. So now they have to deneuralize him so that they can get the secret of what was left here on Earth and in time so that it can return to space at this time to stave off some nuclear holocaust that is coming here to Earth. If that sounds convoluted or complicated, it's not, and it's very flimsy, and it's perfectly flimsy because it's just enough plot to hang a hat on so that Agent J, Will Smith's partner, can get rid of his bumbling partner in the beginning of the film, perfectly played by Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
Can reunite with Agent K, and they can go off and do daring deeds in the in the film before they end off in big battle against Lara Flynn Boyle and her many tentacled vixen. That's it. In between, Rosario Dawson shows up as a love interest in this film.
Maybe.
A
little bit.
Rosario Dawson still kind of a little young in her career at this moment. So not given a lot to do. Definitely basically the damsel in distress.
She's very pretty.
And that's what she's asked to do. This is 2002, so it is now the time of, there's a mixture of practical effects and some 2002 computer effects.
Yeah.
That, for 2002, they're not bad. You know, there's nothing crazy sophisticated like we have now, but they're not bad. I couldn't find in there, but I have the feeling if this movie wasn't released in 3D, it almost had like the feeling that it was trying to be 3D.
Sure, but that might be that 50s aesthetic that you were talking about.
Which is what I was thinking of, because there's a lot of times where things are coming out of shooting at you.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, and this definitely was around that time when films started, you know, like the 3D was starting to make a reemergence. But I didn't see anything that said that this was released in 3D. So I don't know. But even still, like you said, the aesthetic was still there. The effect was still there. And with the computer graphics of it even in 2D, it still was stunning. You know, not stunning, but it's still played.
Sure.
You know, it landed, right? And the movie, it's a sci-fi action comedy. And it is funny. And I'm not going to say to me as I was watching it, and to be honest, while I knew, you know, like pretty much every Will Smith movie, I've seen them all, at least up to a certain point, and seen them all in theaters, and found myself enjoying most of them.
Sure.
But there was a part of me that was thinking, like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. Does it hold up?
Sure, of course.
Be dated. Am I still going to find this funny?
Of course.
I still found a lot of it funny. Did I necessarily find Will funny? Not so much, but that's because, you know, sometimes a little Will in this lane can be a little grating sometimes, but he was fine. He was fine. The worms who are returning characters in this film, they had me cracking up. There's a bit where Will has to bring Rosario Dawson to them to hide her out because Rosario Dawson was a witness to these aliens coming to Earth. So he has to hide Rosario Dawson with the worms, and they see her and it's like, oh, hey, pretty lady. Like, once you go worm, that's what you'll yearn. I was like, yo, that was funny. I cracked up. I rewinded. And then there was another joke. He says something about, like, you know, they're on suspension because they stole from the duty-free shop. And then one dude slides like a carton of Marlboros off the bar. He's like, we were framed. I was like, I laughed. So I thought, I found.
It's kind of like how Craig got fired for stealing boxes on his day off, and they said he didn't, but if you look in the background,
you see all the boxes.
actually see the boxes.
Right. So it's like, that was funny. Johnny Knoxville is in this movie. Johnny Knoxville, some people don't like Johnny Knoxville. I like Johnny Knoxville.
Some people.
You know, I like him. And he had a couple of funny lines in here. Lara Flynn Boyle, we talked about Anna Nicole Smith winning an award. Lara Flynn Boyle won a Razzie Award as well for this film for her acting performance. And I have to be honest, as someone who's never been a big fan of Lara Flynn Boyle, and most of my experience with her is off of the practice.
Sure.
I didn't think that she was great in this film either.
I think that's everybody's experience.
Well, you know, I don't know. I knew her off of the practice.
I'm a fan of the television show that she did in Finland in the early 80s.
No, she didn't do that.
Right.
She appeared at the Oscars a couple of times because she dated Jack Nicholson.
Right.
And she was sitting next to him.
Right.
That in The Practice is what I know her from in Men in Black 2. So, like, did she earn her Razzie for this movie? I think so, to be fair.
I'm sure there were
and actually, in looking up the information on this film, I saw that Famke Johnson was actually first. I would have loved to see that.
That would have been
That's an actress who I actually
that would have been
enjoyed.
interesting.
I would have loved to see her in this role. And also learning more about this film, Linda Fiorentino from the first film was actually set to return, but depending on what you believe, she the producers didn't want her, or Tommy Lee Jones didn't want her back, and thus she is basically
written off
as you know, then deneuralized herself or neuralized. But at the end of the day, you know, this movie filled with cameos. You got Biz Markie. This is also features, and it closes out for the mission the filmography of Michael Jackson. Yeah, because this is his final film role before his.
Right, because this is after Moonwalker.
Yeah. So this is his final moon role before he passes away in 2009. I guess technically, what would have been his final film role was the concert footage.
Yeah, but that's a documentary.
That's documentary. Yeah. So, and Michael, you know, I remember it played big in the theater when it comes up.
It's a solid bit.
It works, you know. So that works. I also was taken in that when I watched this movie, and this is, you know, missionaries will appreciate this. I think you will too. Watching this movie, again, this is the type of movie that Eddie Murphy was trying to do with The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
100%. 100%.
Pluto Nash, this is what he was trying to do. And you should see the documentary I just mentioned, number one on Call Sheet, because Eddie Murphy talks about Pluto Nash in that documentary.
But he talks about because they paid him so much.
Oh, no, he
actually talks about the film.
He talks about the film.
Interesting.
Yeah, you should see it. I'll leave that for you. Right. So at the end of the day, I was surprised by how much I still enjoyed Men in Black 2.
Okay.
But it's curious. I was talking to our good friend Michael Dennis of Real Black earlier today, and he was asking what we were going to be reviewing. And I said that we were going to be reviewing Men in Black 2. And his immediate response to that was, is that a black movie?
Yeah.
And that's a question that we have to answer. But before we do, I want to hear your thoughts on Men in Black 2.
I think it's fine. I think the operative words that I had in my notes were cruise control. Like, I think all...
Not Speed 2.
No. I think all of the pieces... Like
Dylan appreciated that.
You have a different script writer. But, you know, I don't know if... Like, I thought the script in Men in Black was good. But I don't think the script was the real standout in Men in Black. Like, I think Barry Sonnenfeld's direction is solid from Men in Black to Men in Black 2. I don't think Tommy Lee Jones nor Will Smith are doing anything extraordinary. Like, neither one of them are stretching.
Not at all.
But at the same time, you get the sense that they are present. You know, so cruise control. Speaking of the effects, I'm not a special effects guy, but I do, you know, I have a little makeup nerd in me just because of the Outer Limits and things. You can never go wrong with Rick Baker.
No, you cannot.
And a lot of the alien costuming and everything is first rate. And I just think all around, it's a solid film. And I mentioned The Color of Money, which is the sequel to The Hustler.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about the fact, like, what are the really successful sequels? Like the sequels that we talk about, that we say, I am glad that they continued the story from the first film. And I don't think The Color of Money is as good as The Hustler.
Not
obviously. But I like it. Like, you know, it's Paul Newman. It's a young Tom Cruise. I think it works. Obviously, we talk about Godfather 2. We talk about Aliens. We talk about Terminator 2. We talk about Blade 2. And
I was waiting for you to name your big one.
What's the big one?
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back, which I think you can actually count as a sequel. And I think what all of these films, or the vast majority of them, have in common is that they're different films.
Yeah.
Like, they almost change genres in some of these films to I mean, because even Godfather 2, like, for everyone, oh, you can watch Godfather 1, Godfather 2 together. Godfather 2 is a whole different vibe.
It is.
Than Godfather 1 because of the Robert De Niro section. And I think Men in Black 2 is as good as a sequel could be for a story that they didn't mess with it at all. As you mentioned, it is, you know, even Kay who leaves the stage at the end of Men in Black. So you have like 25 minutes before Tommy Lee Jones comes back into the film. And the film, like, in my mind, that was the part of the film that lagged a little bit. Like, I think Will Smith is doing fine by himself. But there really is, what made Men in Black work was this energy
between the two of them,
between Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith.
Yeah.
I think the story of the Men in Black, I think just as a plot, worked so well in the original one because we had never seen anything like this, like just this story. And you're not really adding to this story. It's really just another case for the Men in Black. The real star of, or the real standout for Men in Black for me, and we've kind of talked about this when we talked about Pluto Nash, appropriately enough, is this wonderful tone that Barry Sonnenfeld has with this Sonnenfeld with this kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of post-50s aesthetic and 50s feel that, you know, I think about something like Mars Attacks, which kind of had this, but was a little bit more mean-spirited.
Yeah.
You have that vibe, but we had it already. So nothing is really new.
Not really. It really is just the toys that they get to play with, with the special effects.
The dog and the worms, I thought were a little too, they were always a little too cutesy for me, but then I also understand I'm not necessarily the target audience.
Exactly.
Like, I think the target audience, as you talked about, like, they like the worms, they like the pug that talks, so you bring them out again. I didn't like any of that jackass period stuff at all. Like, for me, Johnny Knoxville is very much, it was like fingernails on a chalkboard. But I also understand it's 2002. And you kind of stick him in there over as his side character, and it's fine. You said Laura Flynn Boyle got a Razzie. I don't think she was bad enough. Like, she wasn't just, like, she really was part of the tableau. Like, everybody just sort of did their thing.
Yeah, but I mean, in fairness, they didn't give her anything really to do.
Right. Like, I don't understand what she got the Razzie for. Like they, you know, they put her in lingerie for longer than I thought they should have.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, I guess.
At the top of the movie.
Right. I was
Hello,
like,
kids.
Right. It was like, well, I mean, I guess at some point she'll put some pants on. But I guess, you know, look, I'm Laura Flynn Boyle. I get to be in the sequel to Men in Black. They told me to stand around in my underwear. This is what I have to do. And she did it. So, you know, she did it fine. And she put some pants on, and then she was the bad guy. But it was very solid. We can talk about whether it's a black movie or not. I thought in my, like for me, the best gag is that moment between Will Smith and Biz Markie. Like, that's always been my favorite. And then frankly, it's the only moment I remember, because like you, I'm sure I saw it when it came out. Maybe I've seen it since then, but there's nothing about Men in Black 2 that made me want to circle back around. No. Like if I'm in a mood for Men in Black, I'm going to watch Men in Black.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great film. And then this is a sequel to a great film that isn't bad enough to kind of be interesting.
Yeah.
Like you know, something like Jaws 2 is fascinating to me because it's so terrible. Or I'm trying to think of like a terrible sequel where it's like, wow, I can't even believe it. Or like Godfather 3, which is like fascinating to me. But you know, it's fine. It's an hour and a half.
It is,
which I thought was striking.
Well,
like it was only an hour and a half.
But a lot of that is because they had to do so much reshoots and rejiggering of the end of the film. Because the end of the film originally had the Twin Towers in it.
Right.
And they had
so they had to cut all that
cut all of that out. And so with cutting that out and like reworking things, that cut into the
I didn't connect those dots, but I thought the runtime was perfect.
No, it's perfect.
Like I thought the runtime was perfect.
It's absolutely perfect. The other thing that I do think that hurts this a little bit, especially if you are so much a fan of the movie, the original, is that this is, again, speaking of sequels, one of the few times when a movie is then adapted for television. And the television show, in this case, which was a Saturday morning cartoon,
I know what you're about to say,
is superior to the movie.
Yeah.
And thus also runs long enough and as much of a hit that it effectively works as a sequel already.
Well, to your point, and the reason that I mentioned that it was 1978 when it came, you know, talking about like successful sequels that kind of just change the tone completely or do something different. And it's almost like a brand new movie. The part of the film as a film that really interested me the most, there's a moment at the beginning where they have like a clip from an In Search Of type show.
My man, Peter Graves.
And they have a reenactment of what happened in 1978. And they have people dressed up. And then David Cross plays basically
video store guy,
a conspiracy theorist who apparently has been talking about the Men in Black. And then they show up, but you get the sense that there's a whole world on the fringes that kind of know, like even the whole bit about a black market deneuralyzer. Like I would have loved the film to really lean into people right on the outside of the Men in Black. Like people who've been like the Men in Black have visited them and then they leave and, you know, maybe you didn't get neuralized, like you were in the other room and there are support groups about this and just sort of expanding the mythology a little bit, or even saying that Kay has been doing this for so many years so that you can get something from 1978, you get something. And I know they kind of sort of do it in Men in Black 3 and even Men in Black, International, but those are bad films.
Yes, they are.
Like I wanted them to do it in because when like the team is still together and the team is still kind of right. But I 100% agree with you that the cartoon really takes some of the energy away from what would have been excitement for this.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with you.
Now, in regards to the question of whether or not this is a black film, this is we talked about this, and there's an ongoing conversation on the mission about there are some films, and more specifically, some actors' filmography where that question does come up. Just because you are number one on the call sheet, does that inherently make your film now a black film? We more or less have landed on yes.
Yes.
Because could Will Smith have been taken out of this role, especially in Men in Black 2?
Right.
Maybe not so much Men in Black 1.
I was about to say Men in Black, I think he's amazingly racialized.
Right.
Like I've actually talked about that moment. Like that moment when he says the difference between me and you is I make this look good is quintessential. Like black people, like when you talk about black dandyism and black dress and the black prep style and how that that's like a clear example of that.
Yes.
But as you said, in Men in Black 2, he's the standard bearer.
Yeah.
Like, before Tommy Lee Jones shows up,
he's
the authority figure.
Right.
He's, I'm still going to land on it is. And, a lot of it, frankly, is because of that moment with him and Biz Markie. Like, Brad Pitt could have had that moment, but it wouldn't have resonated as much.
No, not at all.
I do like the bit where he has the blow-up doll that drives the car around.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, the initial one was black, but he kept getting pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had these little
Which
touches.
was an improv.
Oh, I didn't. We'll see. There you go.
That line was improv.
Yeah.
Not the crazy thing is, Will improv that line for the film, and it was so good that, of course, they left it in the film.
Right.
But it was also so good that they put it in the trailer, which Barry Sonnenfeld didn't like because by that time, because it was in the trailer, and you got to remember, this is at a time where trailers were basically like there were commercials all over, and people were locked in. You would see it. By the time it got to the film, the joke was old.
Right.
So he didn't like that, but he loved the joke.
Right.
Yeah, I think that it lands on it that it's a black film because it's Will Smith in the lead, right? And he decidedly is the star of this film. Could he have been replaced in this role by name white actor of the day?
Right, Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt.
Kevin Bacon, whoever. Yes, he could have. And would it be a black film? No, it would not. But it ain't them. It's Will Smith.
It is.
And Will Smith executing his plan. Let's put it out there. He's executing a plan where, on his dartboard at home is Tom Cruise. That's who he's gunning for.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the type of movie and the type of role, and more to the point, the performance that he has to, lock himself into to reach his objective. But still, this is a black movie.
Yes. Now, my question to you, because I really am, we've done sequels before, but this is one of the few sequels that we've done. My question is, for a sequel is always, do you think this film justifies its existence? Aliens, perfect. Godfather 2, perfect. Terminator 2, perfect. Like, these are all discrete films that 100% should exist. Does Men in Black 2 justify its existence? We both agreed it's solid.
It's solid.
Does it justify its existence?
And you could make an argument going back to 2002, coming off of, 9/11 and everything that was going on, that this may have been the type of entertainment that we needed. It definitely was a huge hit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely a huge hit.
To that.
Yeah.
But in answer to that question, I would have to say no.
Yeah.
I would have to say no.
Yeah.
I think, and we've kind of already touched on it. If you wanted to return to this world, you had the animated show, which, to be fair, was a Saturday morning cartoon. But if you found it, you found that it coded a lot older than just Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I can understand some people are like, it's Saturday morning. That's not me. But with that being said, the film itself, it's fine.
It's fine.
But I don't think it is fine enough that if in absence of the cartoon, if you want to land on Men in Black was good enough that I wouldn't mind returning to this world, I think you would have maybe wanted a cut above as far as just to answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
You went there because you wanted to go back there.
Sure.
You're locked in because of it looks great. The makeup, the special effects. It's got some funny lines. It definitely is family friendly for the most part.
Absolutely.
You know, so you're gonna go there, but does it really give you what the first one gave you that you probably were looking for? No. And so I would have to say it doesn't justify it.
Follow-up question. Does it not justify its existence because of how good Men in Black was?
Yes.
I agree with both of those statements.
Yeah.
I agree with, like I think Men in Black was so good that the bar was so high.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't clear it, you should have left it alone.
Exactly.
If it was a more average film, then sure, go back to it. But I think Men in Black is actually a really special film. Like I think the alchemy of Men in Black is something, per our conversation about Pluto Nash even. Like I think people have tried to repeat it. I mean, hell, Barry Sonnenfeld and Will Smith tried to repeat it in the Wild Wild West, which, while I don't think it's as bad as everyone has always said it was, it obviously isn't as good as Men in Black. I'd have rather they left it alone.
Right, but
I'd have rather they left it alone.
I am going to push back on you a little bit, if I heard you correctly, in that I think Men in Black was an excellent film.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think it created a world that, if you were a fan of it, I certainly was, I wouldn't have mind returning to. Why I look forward and love the animated cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have been, even still wouldn't have mind returning to it in a feature film. If you don't make a film as good as Men in Black, okay, you don't make a film as good as Men in Black. But I think you should at least have an idea. The idea or the story of the movie should be something that should be as good, you know?
Look,
I don't think this story is not good at all.
Look, the story in Men in Black is almost the same thing. Like, it's all a MacGuffin to just sort of set up this narrative to introduce you to this world. Like, to me, Men in Black, the pop is in the newness.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only have novelty once.
Right, which means
you have to either build on it or come at it from
a different angle. So, but what I'm saying is that if you either build on it, and an argument can be made that they did build on it because they had more special effects and tried to play, maybe even lean into the tone, maybe even a little bit more,
right,
in this film, or come at it from. But I think, to your point, then the story should maybe. So you got more toys to play with, but the story should maybe come at it a different way. But you said, like, if you're not going to top it, then better leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm saying is that at least come with an angle.
Yes.
Something that you're going for. And then if it doesn't all come together and thus top it, it doesn't. But at least I appreciate that you came here with something.
All right. Maybe
I don't think
is right.
Because I don't think they came with anything.
Arguably, Alien is better than Aliens.
Exactly.
As a film.
Exactly.
But because Aliens or Terminator 2 are so different, like like they actually kind of moved the narrative around some.
Mm-hmm. especially with aliens.
Right. It's not even like I have this apple and now I've created a better apple. It's like I have this apple and now I'm going to hand you a pear.
Right.
And it's like, ooh, pears are good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not, but okay.
You don't like pears?
No.
You know what? That's fair. I have a small window for pears. I have a small window for pears.
I just wanted to see where you would go.
I wanted to be mad at you. I was about to go, how do you not like pears? And now I realize, yeah, but see, I only have like a 3-day window when I'll eat them too. They have a weird consistency if you don't watch them.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
That goes like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a weird, yeah, but it's like apples and pears. So, okay. I mean, I'll just say this, at least on my part. Like, I'm going to recommend it, which meant that because it's a solid, like, I could pick at it. Like, I like we could pick at it a little bit. Like, because, you know, it's Octavia April and you know, also, I'm sort of getting together my language for Predator 2. Which, hey,
it's coming.
Hey,
slow down.
We doing sequels. We doing sequels.
Hey, slow down. Now,
did we do Breaking 2?
Yes.
We did do Breaking 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
There's not a 3, is there?
Breaking 3, Electric Boogaloo. No, there is.
Thank you. Sure.
Breaking 4, Dancing to the Door. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Looking over the edge of that rabbit hole, aren't you? Just a quick small point of business for missionaries, for sharp-eyed missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
We reviewed Men in Black 2 tonight, and we're going to tell you whether or not we recommend the film or not in just a second. But it is not lost on us that along this mission, we haven't reviewed Men in Black.
Yeah, not officially.
Not officially. What happened?
What had happened was
is that back in 2018 or 2019? I'm not sure. I think no, it's 2019.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, we actually did a live podcast at Blurred City Con in New York, where our good friend of the show, Ryan Sands, actually joined us live in person to review Men in Black for the audience. So in our mind, we were like, we've reviewed Men in Black, but that wasn't recorded.
Right.
So technically, it never came up on the mission.
It's apocryphal.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So we actually started to do a 180 and just do Men in Black. We said, no, we'll do Men in Black 2. And then we're actually going to reach back out to Ryan and see if he's available. And we will properly review Men in Black here on the show. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, who knows? Then Ryan can join us for Men in Black 3.
Men in Black 3. We're so tired. It's like, God damn, Tommy Lee Jones looks old. Will Smith looks old.
That's why they brought in Josh Brolin.
Everybody just look right. Tommy Lee Jones was so old. He said, "Yeah, I'm."
Y'all got me for 5 minutes.
Y'all got me for 25 minutes. He's like, speaking of sequels, he's like Charlton Heston in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I'm going to show up the first 15 minutes, and I'm going to show up the last 15 minutes, and then I'm going to be in my trailer.
No. He's going to say, y'all can put a green screen in my garage.
Men in Black 3 were so tired.
Men in Black 3, sponsored by Casper Mattresses.
Men in Black 3. You're paying me how much money? Oh my God, I guess I can't.
I guess I gotta wake up.
Oh my goodness. Guess I can't really turn that down. Ooh. I'm rich, but I ain't rich enough to turn down that kind of money.
All right.
Did you see the fourth one? Did you see the
Men in Black International?
Yeah. Tessa Thompson and Chris
Hemsworth.
Yeah. Did you see it?
I did.
How was it?
At all.
Yeah.
So, but you said that you would recommend Men in Black too.
I would. It's solid. Yeah. It's solid. It's solid. As you said, this is perhaps the height of Will Smith's ascension as a global superstar.
He's nearing the apex.
As you mentioned, this is about the time that he begins to pivot and become more actorly.
Yeah, so, he's got a couple, like one or two more action
but
things.
Like the popcorn Will Smith. This is like, and he looks surprisingly young in this too.
Yeah, he does.
Like I was like, oh my God.
Well, yeah,
it's like a kid. Yeah. So you know, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, I thought their chemistry continues. Tonally, I thought the tone is still solid. I love the Rick Baker effects. Like I'm a Rick Baker guy. It's an hour and a half, so it's zippy. You know, in and out, nobody gets hurt. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Yeah. I mean, obviously watch Men in Black first.
Yes.
And then, but yeah.
I recommend it too. I would recommend it as well. It's fun. It's solid. It's family friendly. If you haven't shown it to your kids, this is a perfect movie. If you haven't shown it to your kids, you want to, like kind of like relive your, childhood or your teens. Throw this on. There's enough in here that they may enjoy too.
I watch it with my 9-year-old,
and you said he loved it.
He enjoyed it. Yeah,
yeah, because it is fun. It is fun, most definitely. And then go find Men in Black the animated series. At least if you can find the first season.
If that's streaming.
Oh, that's a good question.
You keep talking. I'll look. It's two of us.
Yeah, go find that because that is worth watching, especially the first season. All right. Now, before we tell you again the movie that we're going to be reviewing next week on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you to share all of your thoughts and concerns with us by email at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com.
All 4 seasons are on Tubi.
Everything's on Tubi. The world is on Tubi.
Yeah. I think when it's all said and done, Tubi is going to be the real story of this moment, of this streaming moment.
Like the next big story after Netflix. Netflix is the story.
I think this is going to be the stealth story. Like I think Netflix and all of the big marquee streaming services kind of suck all the air out. But I think there's something really going on Tubi. Okay. Like I think Tubi is...
I know you watch a lot of Tubi.
It is remarkably useful for something just like this.
Okay.
So
you're going to go home and watch it?
At some point. I'm in the middle of like 3 or 4 different
10,000 things.
I've got 10,000 things going on.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Right.
All right. You can find the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. And you can like and subscribe to us on YouTube at Micheaux Mission, where you can subscribe, hit the bell, be notified of when we put up our videos, when we put up our shorts. Here's a big popular one about Vince talking about Morris Day and Bruno Mars. Go check it out. And when we be notified of when we go live right here from YunkJunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself in one of the many studios that they have here at YunkJunk. They're actually building new studios as we speak. Then you want to get in touch with our Dylan at YunkJunk.com. That's DYLAN at YunkJunk.com. The Micheaux Mission is also available as an audio podcast on the podcaster of your choice, whether it be Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can find the Micheaux Mission right there, which is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which will be returning next week here at YunkJunk for our review of Vincent's selection. You've heard him he's been talking about it actually all month. So we're going to be reviewing Predator 2.
Predator 2.
Starring, of course, Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Next week here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.
YunkJunk!